I must admit that issues of gender-based violence have escalated, and especially in institutions of higher learning. You will not miss a semester without hearing about more than 2 students who have become victims of gender-based violence. Some will be stabbed to death, some will be killed, and last year we lost a student, a female student, just within the premise of the university, who was brutally murdered. So one of the things that I think we have not done here in Pwani University is to establish a gender resource center where students can access help. And number 2, we have not operationalized or normalized putting issues of sensitizations on matters gender and gender-based violence during orientation. So I think when students come, this is orientation week, it is very important for the university to put in their programs. We can even invite guests like those who have taught us today to be part of the orientation week and give them, let's say, a whole day to speak to students about red flags that can indicators that contribute to gender-based violence, so that in case they have become victims, they can be able to find help. So if we can also look at the curriculums of the universities and find ways of integrating issues of gender-based violence strongly in the curriculum, that will go a long way. And I want to applaud the university because it is open to workshops. So if we can escalate workshops that help staff, supportive staff, and also students, and create a community that everybody participates in mitigating and addressing issues of gender-based violence. Issue of gender-based violence requires a multifaceted approach. It requires teamwork. So having a resource like the county government, which has a gender desk, a gender department that is vibrant, it will be very good for the university to even have an MOA between the university and the county government, and have actually an operational program where they will say twice per year or 3 times per year, we can have programs that are practically touching on issues of gender-based violence.
There was also an issue around an interrogation on existing laws, and the common general consensus that I've seen is people agree that as a country, as Kenya, we have the right laws, and around sexual offenses, the problem only comes when it comes to implementation. So there are a lot of gaps that are there. People would wish that the offenses could, or rather the penalties could be made even much more strict than they are now, and also in terms of handling, how victims of GBV are also handled, right from the police station where they go to report. And while we have gender desks that have been introduced in different police stations, the people who sit there sometimes end up not having the right interpersonal skills that make it a safe space for the victims to feel safe. Yeah, and also the issue of releasing sexual offenders on bail, on bond, pending investigations. So these cases end up being a threat to the victims. We've seen cases that have made headlines in the media where people who had been accused of sexual offenses ended up being released on bail, then they went back and ended up even killing the victims. That when it comes to institutions of higher learning, first, because of the stigma that is even associated with such issues, it is hard even for victims to come out and just say, hey, I was beaten up by my boyfriend because we even live with him, because such things already people are holding them in secrecy. And then again, also, when these things end up at the administrative structures, no institutions wants to be the one putting itself out there in the media and saying we have high cases of this and this. So most of these conversations are also hushed.
In many universities, they have this, I've seen, guiding and counseling sessions. Every university need to have that. So when I've undergone any type of torture, that maybe it's just that's GBV or just any kind of, you feel free to go and speak out. So another problem is a person, tuseme like a boy, a boy child, tuseme he has been defiled, anapatanga, that one is somehow aibu, it's some sort of embarrassment. So him speaking out, it becomes hard for him. But we need to have some mechanism, some written or articulated steps on how to combat such things, in which we can even use lecturers and student leaders to be confidential. Yeah, the confidential of the students.
With 1 month. Actually, it's more than a month, because we are going to officially launch it today. We are not going to disclose right now the reward, but it's huge. Sometimes good things don't come with.
That simply makes
By reading and you get that, you can scan the QR code and it will take you to where you can upload. It's very important. There is no secret in how we are going to choose. So we are going to also explain to you
the part where we are going to have very open conversations. The first topic we have
talking about coastal areas, start from Taita to Lamu, isn't it? So any institution from those areas. So we want to see.
So you umetupeleka kwa the second part ya swali.
You have to have to be notable, to be known, to have work that is known all over the world and all that. So we